things well. And I think that if you could financially do without the second salary, I think it would be very good for you to support him.
All right. Thank you for calling today, Kathy. We're going to get another call here. This is David in Bedford.
Hi, David.
David, are you there?
Gotta be on.
David, are you there? Having a little difficulty here, if you'll just bear with us. David? David, are you there? We seem to have lost David. If you'll bear with us, we're on WVIP 1310 AM and Cable Channel 12. We're taking your calls now for your astrological projections. Mary Michele, the number here is 241-1310, and we'll be right with you after this.
There's nothing like a classic movie to bring home all of life's feelings. Like when you lose your heart.
What is it you want, Mary? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Flirt shamelessly.
Don't let's talk about me. Let's talk about you. What kind of man are you?
Or simply roar with laughter.
I could dance with you till the cows come home. On second thought, I'd rather dance with the cows than you come home.
Only one cable channel touches your heart by bringing you continuous classic movies. Uncut, uncolorized, and commercial-free. American movie classics. 50 years of Hollywood, from dramas to comedies, westerns to mysteries.
Now you've got it. That's the idea exactly.
See these great movies and more on American Movie Classics. We bring back the feeling.
.1310 AM and Cable Channel 12. You're here with Meet the VIPs, and it's Mary Michele with your astrological projections. We have a call on the line. This is David. David, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you, David?
Okay,
We want to welcome you to the show. And David's birthday is 1955, November 8th. Do you have a particular question for Mary Michele today?
Yes, Mary. I was curious if you can give me some insight into where my personal, intimate relationships will be going in the near future.
Okay, David, you have the sun in Scorpio, as you know. You have the moon in Virgo. Sorry. Can you hear me if you turn down your television?
My television's all the way down. I can just barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, something squeaked at me. Okay, you have Mercury in Scorpio. You have Venus in Sagittarius. You know, as I was saying to that previous caller with a lot of planets in Scorpio, you know, the last 12 years have been a difficult time. You have a lot of planets in Scorpio, so there's a strong feeling with this of having to transform yourself, you know, to have to, you know, almost dying a little bit in a lot of different directions to be reborn. I think certainly when, you know, Pluto moves on, the planet that rules Scorpio moves on into Sagittarius in the middle of November, this is directly going to hit your Venus, and Venus is the planet of love. So I would think that, are you involved with someone presently?
Kind of on and off.
On and off. I think that you're going to know by the middle of November there's going to be much more clarity. You're going to feel more secure within the relationship, or you're going to be more secure about ending the relationship. You know, the nature of what I do is I try to not override your own free will. So I think that, you know, you could go one way or the other, but I think that you are going to feel more secure within yourself to make that decision. And certainly if the decision is to move on, there's going to be a lot of opportunity from the middle to the end of November. If it's to stay within the relationship, that will blossom too. Was there something else that you wanted to ask? Did I answer clearly enough for you?
Yeah, that was a sufficient answer.
Okay. Thanks so much for calling then.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Thank you, David. We have another call on line. It's Sandy, and she's on line 1. I'm going to bring her up now. Sandy, are you there? Sandy?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Sandy.
Hi.
You're on the air with Mary Michele. Sandy's birthday, 1942, November 16.
Lots of Scorpios today.
Both of you.
Thank you. Sandy, do you have a particular question for Mary Michele?
My question is, I have problems, and some of them have been like panic attacks and agoraphobia due to child abuse when I was younger, and I was wondering if my life is a puzzle. I was wondering if this is going to get better in the future, because it's hell living with this kind of thing. My last.
How long has this been going on? How long have you been having these panic attacks?
Now, I had them a short period of time over a few years. Now I've been having it since last December.
Uh-huh. And before that, were things on more or less of an even keel?
I can't hear you.
I'm really sorry about this. Before that, were things on an even keel?
No, exactly. Yes, they were getting better, but then since December, they've been getting worse.
Okay, November 16th, 1942. You have the moon in Pisces, the sun in Scorpio, the moon in Pisces, Mercury in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio. You have a lot of Scorpio planets. So there is a lot of this energy of having to, transform yourself. As I was saying before, in the month of November, when your planet Pluto moves on into Sagittarius, this will let up a lot. Although you have the moon in Pisces, the moon represents our unconscious and usually our mothers. In terms of, are you a mother?
Yes.
And, sometimes when one is a mother, what happens is that you then remember your own mother, and, either you will react and not want to do how your mother treated you, or you will, repeat the same patterns. So these kind of things are, generational. They are handed down, and you have to try and be as clear as you possibly can about them. And I would imagine that for the last year and a half, there have been issues around this, whether it's in terms of being able to get along well with your children, or, bringing up a lot of these motherhood issues. The worst has passed. I mean, it's definitely, it reached its peak about 6 months ago. But it is going to continue for a little bit longer, through until the month of April of '96. So I think that what you have to do right now is to try to, pull in your resources and realize that you're going to learn a tremendous amount from this. You're going to get clarity about whatever abuse issues were done to you, or, the people around you as a child. And in turn, you're going to have a lot more clarity with your own children, and I think that is going to make you feel a whole lot better. But it's going to be a little bit longer before you can, completely feel comfortable about it. So just, take it easy. Do things that you enjoy, and it will get better.
Well, thank you very, very much. You've given me hope.
Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you for calling, Sandy. If you'll stay with us, we'll be right back after these messages. You're watching WVIP.
It's the Northeast's largest ever billiard and pool table sale at Leisure Unlimited, 101 Central Avenue in Hartsdale. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you'll find hundreds of name-brand pool tables and game tables at unheard-of low prices. Instant financing is available with approved credit. Brand new tables at unbelievably low prices. Hundreds of billiard tables, pool tables, and game tables, all on display and available for immediate delivery at Leisure Unlimited, 101 Central Avenue in Hartsdale. If ever you thought, or are now thinking, or might think of buying a pool table, don't miss this opportunity at Leisure Unlimited. We're located at 101 Central Avenue in Hartsdale. There are road signs to show you the way. Don't miss New York's largest billiard table sale ever, this Friday, September 29th through Sunday, October 1st at Leisure Unlimited, 101 Central Avenue in Hartsdale.
This is the one and only WVIP. Only WVIP has both radio and television stations. WVIP 1310 on your AM dial with more power than any other local radio station. And WVIP TV, Cablevision Channel 12, from Armonk to Mount Kisco, Bedford Village, Bedford Hills, Katona, Somers, Yorktown, and Putnam Valley. And United Video Channel 15 in Pound Ridge, Lewisboro, and North Salem. The one and only WVIP AM and WVIP TV.
There's a lot of
great shows on cable, but what I want to know is how can I find out what's really worth watching?
On cable.
Of course on cable. That's what I'm talking about. How do I find the best stuff on cable?
That's where.
What's where?
On cable from E! Entertainment Television. Every week you'll see previews of the best movies, sports, specials, documentaries.
On cable?
Sure. They'll even tell you how to find shows the whole family can watch together without blindfolding the kids.
They'll tell me on cable?
Certainly.
But what's the name of the show?
On cable.
So, if I want to find out what's on cable, I have to watch on cable.
Now, that's the first thing you've said that makes any sense.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
And to order, call Cablevision of Yorktown, 962-4444.
I get it. The name of the show is On Cable.
Right. It's the show to watch before you watch.
Oh, wait a minute. I should watch the show before I watch?
Naturally.
I'm going to take up baseball.
1310 a.m., Cable Channel 12, WVIP. You're here with Mary Michele for your astrological projections. And if you want to call in and talk to her, our number, 241-1310. We have a couple of phone lines open. In the meantime, we have Kathy on the line. Kathy, are you there? Kathy? Kathy?
Yes.
Hi, how are you, Kathy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Kathy's birthday, Mary Michele, is 1970, July 2nd. Did you have a particular question for her?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Did you have a particular question for Mary Michele?
Yes, I do. A lot of strange things have been happening to me lately, and I was just wondering if it was some type of a sign that I'm supposed to be paying attention to, or...
Can you give me an indication of what kind of, what is that's unusual? Can you hear me? Kathy? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Kathy, are you there? Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
What was your question for her, Mary Michele?
Well, a lot of strange things have been happening to me lately, and I was wondering if it was some type of a sign that I should be paying attention to.
Can you give me an indication of what kind of strange things? Hello?
Well, it's basically like the same things that have been happening last year.
That were happening to you last year. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. You have a lot of planets in Cancer. You have the sun in Cancer, the moon in Cancer. The moon in Cancer, it means that you were born at the new moon. You have Mercury in Cancer, Mars in Cancer. Are you, what do you do? Do you work?
No, I don't.
You don't work. Are you a mother? Yes? Are you a mother? I'm sorry.
Kathy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead. Are you a mother?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Well, these strange things that are happening around you, have they got to do with a relationship issue?
No, it's just that everything is just repeating itself, and I was just curious to know if there's some type of a sign that I should be listening to.
Well, in general, I think when things repeat themselves, it's definitely, yes, you should listen to it. I would need a little bit more information, though, to perhaps help you interpret the sign.
Well, last year I just had a really rough time during this year.
Uh-huh.
And I finally have gotten over it, and now it's just like bringing all of the memories back because everything is just happening all over again.
All over again.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to do with a relationship.
Not my marriage, no.
I think the thing is the fact that you're noticing it a little earlier than you were before, and that you're seeing a pattern. The minute that we notice a pattern, the odds are that we will be able to do something about it. So I think you have to trust that whatever is the issue that seems to be coming up again for you, you're seeing it more clearly than you did before. So I wouldn't have fear attached to the idea that you won't be able to do something about it this time around. I think you will have much greater foreknowledge, and therefore you will be able to circumvent this problem before it gets out of hand. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thanks so much for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling, Kathy. We do have some phone lines open. That number to call, 1310 a.m. is 241-1310. Mary Michele available for your astrological projections. And Mary Michele, I want to ask you another question. VIP in general, what do you see the trend being for the station? What's down our road ahead? Any ideas?
Well, I think, the thing to do would probably be look at a chart for the time that the station opened.
I can give you that date right now.
Okay.
1957, September 1st. And
my birthday.
Oh.
That's pretty funny.
That is a mad cosmic now.
Really?
This is an astrological projection, isn't it?
Really?
The birth of VIP and Mary Michele on the same historic day.
Wow. Well,
yes.
Not exactly the same year, though.
Well, that's okay. We'll take what we can get.
Okay. So, the 1st of September, 1957, the moon was in the sign of Sagittarius. The sun was in the sign of Virgo. Mercury was in Virgo. Mars was in Virgo. The running of I think, a radio and television station in general is about a lot of details. One has to be...
We know that.
Different kinds of boards and telephones and, mics and equipment, and all of these things are very detail-oriented. So with, these planets in Virgo, it's helpful. It gives longevity to the birth of the station. With the moon in Sagittarius, this is a hard angle. It's almost as if the soul of the station is a little bit at war with the principle of the station. So there's always this push-pull in terms of, how philosophic the moon in Sagittarius is about philosophy and higher learning and that kind of thing. So there's this pull with the moon in Sag where the station at times might want to have more insightful discussions. But with the sun in Virgo, it's being pulled back always to looking at very concrete details. Certainly with all these planets in Virgo and even the hard angle with it to the moon, I think that is what a hard angle is, where it makes you work hard. So I think that, the station having been named number 1, the radio station for Westchester, is about it, trying to juggle these two components. And I think in many ways VIP has accomplished that. Of course, it will probably take more work. It will continue to struggle with this idea of, providing entertainment and information, but also some thought-provoking ideas.
All right, great. Well, we have another caller on the line. Helen, are you there? Helen?
Yes.
Hi, how are you today?
Hey, how are you?
Good. You're on the phone with Mary Michele. Her birthday is 1917, August 20th. Your birthday is 2 days before mine, Helen.
Oh.
We're practically sisters. What is your question for Mary Michele?
I'd like to know about my health and my nerves.
I'm sorry, could you tell me one more time?
August 20th, 1917.
Okay. You have the sun in Leo, as you know. You have the moon in Libra. Do you have issues around... Are they kind of internal? Is it either your lungs or your stomach?
No, it's my nerves and my knee.
Your nerves.
My knee too.
Okay. Well, Virgo is about nerves. Lots of times the stomach is, will take, when the acid builds up and so on, but it doesn't manifest for you that way. But there is that similarity. Your knees. Have you had an operation on your knees?
No, I had injection in it with cortisone and Novocaine.
When did you do this?
2.5 years ago. And where he gave me that needle, injection, I guess he must have hit the bone, and it hurts every once in a while. And I have to walk with the cane.
Right. Well, has he given you suggestions as to what else you could do?
I'm rubbing in with some medication now, and I take Tylenol, and that seems to give me a relief.
Right. I think that, it's something that you will probably get a lot, you'll feel more comfortable with, and it will feel better. It probably, won't go away entirely. The nature of the knees is it's what holds us up, and I think that it's it's always a toss-up with something like the knees as to whether one should go on and have an operation with it and so on. But I think that it probably relates back to the nerve problem and being nervous. And I think probably when you're nervous, this issue of the knees gets a little worse. Would you say that's true?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will drive my car again.
Let's see. Does the knee interfere with that?
No, it's my nerves.
Your nerves. Okay. Well, have you been able to figure out things that you can do for your nerves? Are there particular areas that you have pursued to do something about it? I mean, have you done any kind of breathing exercises, alternative therapy ideas?
Yes, I do, and I do a lot of hand work, and I walk as much as I can.
Uh-huh. Well, I think with this, these 5 planets in Sagittarius in the end of November, there's a strong possibility of you, making a breakthrough in terms of finding some kind of a repetitive exercise that is really working for you. So you should be feeling better around that time, and if you can, start to drive again, it would probably be then.
That's what I would like to do. I'm always stuck in the house here. I can't go nowhere because I'm afraid that I'm going to have an accident.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is, are you afraid to reach out to people to ask them to take you places?
Oh, I have people that take me places.
But you like the independence?
I like to be independent. I like to go to church when I want to, and I like to go visit people when I want to.
Right. I understand. I do understand, but...
I lost my husband 3 years ago, and since then I've been going down the line.
No. You're going to feel much, much better, as I said, in the end of November. You're going to find something to give you some inspiration. Do you have any grandchildren?
I have 2 grandchildren. One is going to go to college next year, and the other one is in the 2nd year of high school.
Well, I think you're probably going to be able to spend more time with them. They'll reach out to you a little more, and this is going to give you some, some hope and some, new ways of looking at things.
And good morning, everyone. 7 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock at AM 1310 and Cable Channel 12, WVIP. It is time for Mary Michele taking your calls on astrology at 241-1310. Good morning, Mary Michele.
Good morning. How are you?
Why are you laughing? Are we all laughing today? Yes. It's been one of those days. It's a Friday. Is there something in the stars that's making everybody so weird today?
Well, I think there's kind of been a little bit of a release this week. We've had so many dramatic, passionate things that have happened.
The Pope, yes. Then there was the O.J. trial.
Well, and Yom Kippur.
And Yom Kippur.
A lot of stuff.
Okay. Now, can we just, before we get to Alice on line 1, we wanted to just touch on the O.J. verdict.
Well, I think that thing that I showed you in the paper, I think it was Liz Smith's column.
Right. This is from October 4th. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Of course, it's true that large numbers of people are happy with the not guilty verdict. Obviously, we're talking O.J. here. But theirs is not even a bittersweet victory. There are too many ongoing ramifications. This country now reminds me of the poem about the stranger in the desert who comes upon a bestial creature squatting on the ground eating its heart, and asked the stranger, "Is it good, my friend?" "No, no," said the creature. "It is bitter, bitter, but it is my own heart." Maybe you can translate for us.
Well, I think that's how people kind of feel about this case. I mean, have you ever heard of a law case in this country that has had this kind of attention? And I think the reason why it's had so much attention is because it's speaking to us collectively as a country. And astrologically, the chart of OJ is very, very similar to the chart of the United States. We have a lot of things in common. First of all, the sun. His sun, July 9th, I believe, is almost, very, very close to our birthday, July 4th. Then there are many other things in common with Mercury in Cancer, the planet of the mind. And then we have exact mutual reception between the planet Mars and Uranus. The Mars in the United States chart is in the sign of Gemini. Well, anyway, these are kind of astrological things that I won't go on about. But what I'm trying to say is that there's great similarities. So somehow we are examining ourselves through this process of looking at this case. And I think even the fact that, we had this horrific verdict and everybody reacted so strongly to it. And then the next day, the Pope came. And it was also Yom Kippur. And the Pope acknowledged that it was Yom Kippur. And all of those things, it's kind of like there was a shocking thing. And then the next day there was something. Even the rain, the rain is water, is about emotions, it's about gentleness, and we desperately needed the rain. So all of these things, I think, kind of went together very, very well. We were given hope, even in our confusion after the OJ issue.
All right.
Does that kind of make sense?
That says it all.
Okay.
Let's get to the phones right now. We do have an open line at 241-1310. On the phone with us is Alice from North Salem. Good morning, Alice.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Morning. Mary Michele, I have a friend. I was speaking with him last night. He lives in New Jersey, and I have his birth date, and I was wondering if you could answer some questions for him.
Sure. What's the date?
Okay. July 5th, 1942.
Almost my birthday, just 3 years early. Same date, though.
Well, and the funny part is that it's about cancer. Here we are. Did you feel a little connected to what was going on the other day, Mike?
We're not going to get into this. I expressed my opinions on the air.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this fellow is born with the sun in Cancer, the moon in Aries, Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Gemini, Mars in Leo. He has a lot of Gemini planets, but this square, this hard angle between the sun and the moon, and they're both, they're cardinal signs. So this, basically, I think this Uranus-Neptune conjunction, that I've talked about before, that happened in 1993, but it started in 1988.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm calling is he's in a very bad depression right now. He has been unemployed for, I would say, 3 years, and every time he thinks things might get better, it's gone on for 3 years, and he's at an all-time low. And so I, suggested that I give you a call today to find out when is this ever going to, this cycle of not being employed going to break. He's made every effort you can possibly make for 3 years to try to get a job in his field, and it just hasn't happened.
What is his field?
Field is textile and design, and he has worked very hard to keep himself abreast of, it's all computer and technology now, and he's done that. He's, even for nothing, he has worked hard to in a company just to learn the craft.
Did he start learning these crafts around 1993? Is that when he started restructuring and learning again?
Yes.
He's building now, and any time within the next 2 years, there is, very, very strong indications that he will, find something that will be much more satisfying. But what he has to look at is try to remember when things started to fall apart, and how did they start to fall apart. In 1988 would have been the time that it started to fall apart, and he needs to look at that because he doesn't want to repeat the same thing that happened, that came to a head in 93.
Right.
So if he can look back to 1988 and then over the next 2 years, I would say the odds are very, very good that he should be able to find something. And he shouldn't worry too much about the fact that it's taking him a long time. Usually when things take a long time, they have greater impact, and you feel better about them. If you get something too quickly, lots of times it doesn't feel as satisfying. So I think when he does get the job, it'll be exactly the one he wants.
Okay.
Okay, and it'll be soon, you know, but just hold on, have patience.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you for calling also, and we have an open line at 241-1310, 241-1310. Let's get back to the O.J. situation for a second. You said that the astrological chart, is that the correct word?
Yes.
For the United States and that of O.J. Simpson, Juice born on the 9th, was it? Something
Yes.
like that?
Yes.
And the United States obviously born July 4th, 1776.
Yes.
What other parallels can you see here?
Well, O.J. has a lot of planets in Cancer. He has the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. So he's very much about, and if you think of the image of the crab, the crab is an animal or a crustacean that even if you cut off his claw, he will continue to hold